What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rob and I cover all things related to real estate investing. Today, we're going to talk about a hot topic, Airbnb versus traditional renting and which one is more profitable. Now, please note that this is my personal opinion and my personal preferences on things. However, if you stick around to the very end, I have a feeling that you're going to find some useful information out of this and maybe it might help you make an informed decision on your future real estate plans. Let's get started. All right, so before we begin, we need to understand what we're looking at. Traditional renting is probably what you think of when you hear the word renting. You lease a property for a set period of time. Usually this is 6 months to a year, maybe more, depending on your lease. On the other hand, short-term rental, Airbnb, is more like a hotel. You're probably there for 2 days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, but no more than 28 days typically. All right, so what's the benefit of traditional rental? Okay, so the biggest benefit for traditional rental is a consistent stream of income. What does that mean? That means that every month you know exactly how much you are going to make because that amount is written in the lease that you wrote for your tenant. This stability can be crucial in some markets. Airbnb, on the other hand, can be a little unpredictable due to seasonality, guest demand, and global events that could impact travel trends like a zombie-19 apocalypse.
It's Halloween.
All right, so the next one up is management. Unlike Airbnb, with long-term renting, there's a lot less management. Airbnb can be time-consuming. You're constantly talking to guests every few days, or every day, or sometimes every hour, depending on the guest. This means that there's a lot more coordinating and bookings, checking in on them, or even answering any questions that they may have. You do have the capabilities to automate some of these messaging. However, you still need to talk to your cleaners, you need to keep an inventory, you need to resupply, you need to restock, you need to do all of these things. And to make matters worse, if you live out of state, this becomes 2 times harder than it needs to be.
Why does everything have to be so complicated?
All right, next up is lower operating expenses. Now, with Airbnb, you will probably pay a higher premium on your insurance. This is largely due to the fact that it's a lot more turnover, there's a lot more people coming in and out of your property, so therefore it's a more liability thing. So yeah, that sucks, but I mean, it's what we have to do, right? You must also pay for a photographer, which, by the way, you should always pay for a photographer. Do not take cell phone pictures of your property, all right? Do not take cell phone pictures of your beautiful property, okay? All right, cool, glad. All right, yeah, we're good. Now we're good. All right, you must also pay for cleaning costs, Airbnb fees, or any other listing fees. With traditional rental, sometimes you may pay a fee to put it on a website like Zillow or Redfin or any other real estate site. Typically, you can spend money on advertising, but that's basically done when the lease is up anyways. So it's like a one-time fee. And for the most part, if you have a property manager, they will handle all of this for you. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. It's pretty passive income. It's hands-free. All right, next up we have is less wear and tear. Traditional rentals don't get the same amount of foot traffic that an Airbnb does. It's typically the same amount of people going in and out of the unit. Long-term tenants also are more than likely to take care of your unit because they're there for a longer period of time. They treat it as their home, they treat it as theirs, and they're a lot more respectful in this aspect. On the other hand, with Airbnb, tenants are there for a short period of time and they don't really care too much, I would say. Some do, some don't, but it's the luck of the draw at that point. On the flip side, Airbnb can be considered an entirely different beast. Short-term rentals can be classified as anything under 28 days. However, most people tend to book between 1 or 2 days, maybe 3 or 4, up to a week, maybe 2 weeks. Most people don't really book for 28 straight days unless they're there for like a business, a travel nurse, something like that. Anything over 28 days is considered a midterm rental, and that's a completely different video, and that's an entirely different beast. And we'll get on that in another subject. But for now, the biggest advantage that short-term rental offers is the fact that it has a higher income than a long-term tenant. All right, so let's talk numbers. Let's say you have a 1-bedroom apartment here in downtown Tampa. A traditional renter might pay $2,000 a month for it. That's providing a steady income of $24,000 a year. That's of course not accounting for any maintenance issues or vacancies or anything like that. That's pretty good money. Considering how much you paid for that unit, depending how much you paid for that unit, that's actually really good money. Now, let's list that same exact apartment on Airbnb or VRBO, and let's list it for, I don't know, $150 a night. If it's fully booked, that's $4,500 a month, or that's $54,000 a year. Not bad, right? But hold your horses. This is of course the best case scenario. There's gonna be unbooked nights, there's gonna be cleaning costs, there's gonna be Airbnb service fees, there's gonna be guests wanting a refund, there's a lot of things that break, there's quirky things that happen with guests. Either way, you will still bring in more money than a long-term tenant, but it's still something to consider. Income is one of the biggest things about Airbnb. Next up is evictions. With Airbnb, it is a lot easier to kick out a problematic guest, especially if you have Airbnb backing up your claim. Unlike long-term rentals where certain laws or eviction laws make it close to impossible to evict the guest.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
One of the biggest things that I love about Airbnb is the flexibility. You can block off dates and use the property to your liking. Imagine having a nice beachfront property or a mountain view or an island or something. You can block off those dates and go anytime you want. That's amazing. You can't do that with a long-term rental because there's always going to be tenants there. Last but not least, Airbnb has a host protection plan called Air Coverage. This provides the host with liability insurance for up to $2 million. What this means is that if a guest damaged your property or maybe he burnt down your house or something crazy of that, you are protected for up to $2 million. This is amazing because unlike long-term rental, you don't have this type of protection. Maybe if you have your own personal insurance that's covering your home, but typically it's not done through a program like AirCover, like Airbnb does it. So in my opinion, this is one of the biggest deals there is because you are protected, and that's amazing. Now, in the end, there's no one size fits all answer. It depends on a lot of factors like your personal financial goals, how much time you're willing to invest, your risk tolerance, your property's location, and even your personality. Like, are you comfortable dealing with guests frequently, handling the ins and outs of an Airbnb, or do you prefer a more hands-off approach like a long-term tenant? It's a complex subject and we barely scratched the surface, but I do believe that with the right information and education, you can make the best informed decision for yourself. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Are you leaning towards traditional rental, or are you leaning towards short-term rentals like Airbnb, VRBO, or do you like both of them? Do you like both categories? Let me know in the comments below because I'm genuinely curious to see what others may think, or if you agree with me or anything like that, or you disagree with me. Let me know. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll do this again some other time. All right, Rob out.